They said, there's no way, you're crazy. Oh my gosh. They came back, they countered us $175,000. I said, no. We'll pay $60,000. They came back. Long and the short of it is, we wound up paying $100,000 for a $200,000 lot premium. It saved my client $100,000.
From the grit and the grind to successful minds, live from the entertainment capital of the world, your hosts, Jillian Batchelor and Daryl Hanna.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
It is Jillian Batchelor.
And Daryl Hanna.
And we are Vegas Real Talk, and we are coming to you guys in studio today. And Daryl, what are the things that we're talking about?
Wow. We got a lot to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about, you guys.
Obviously, everyone's been freaking out about the market, but it's really not a time to freak out. I feel like it's kind of stabilizing.
Stabilization. That is a great word for this market, you guys, is stabilization, because what the CPI, which is the Consumer Pricing Index, has come down. It's cooled off. They say inflation is starting to cool off. Of course, next Monday, we're going to have the actual December report on that. But in November, CPI is cooling off, you guys.
Rates have come down the last 4 weeks.
In a row. Yeah. Interest rates, mortgage interest rates, you guys, are coming down. So today, you can get a 15-year fixed mortgage in the fives. And
high fives, low sixes,
exactly.
Depending on your credit. But
and a 30-year fix in the sixes.
Everyone thought we were going to go in the sevens and the eights. And but I guess, I don't know, maybe that might still happen, but
who knows,
it's going the right way.
It is going the right way. And what's so important is that even below that, I mean, I had a client who closed yesterday at 3.75. How did they do that? The 3-2-1 buy down, guys. 3-2-1 buy down. So let's explain what that is for those of you who don't know that.
2-1 buy down or 3-2-1 buy down?
Yes. Yeah. So what that is the seller effectively needs to pay those closing costs, which in this market, we're getting those closing costs paid for. The seller buys your interest rate down. For the first year, they buy it down 3 points. So if you would have qualified for a 6.25% interest rate today, your interest rate for the first year is going to be 3.25. Second year, it's going to be down by 2 points. So it'll be 4.25. On the third year, it'll be 5.25, and then on the fourth year, it would go back to the normal interest rate at 6.25, which most lenders, economists, everybody out there is projecting that within 4 years, you'd be able to refi, and our rates are going to be well down, probably way even before 4 years, maybe even 2 years, maybe even a year. Who knows, right?
Yeah, but on the 3-2-1 buy down, you got to remember, you got to get at least 6 points.
Yeah, you got to get 6%. So your realtor has to negotiate that. Same thing with the 2-1 buy down. It goes down by 2 points the first year, 1 point the second year,
then it adjusts. So you got to get 3 points from the seller on the 2-1 buy down. Yeah.
Which we're doing every day, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, gosh, we're getting
6
8%.
points may not be easy, but 3 points is pretty easy.
But we're doing deals where we're getting 8%, 10%. I mean, think about this. You see a house that's $500,000. Let's go easy math. And how many times do you have a client who wants to offer $450,000?
Always.
Okay, so that's 10% off. So we just take that 10% pie. We say, let's get 6% to do the 3-2-1 buy down. Let's get the other 4%, use it towards your closing cost, or maybe we use 2 points towards the closing cost and 2 points to shave it off the sales price.
But you're still offering the $500,000.
In that scenario,
In that scenario, you're just getting them to take that extra 10% and chop it up how you want it.
Exactly.
So you could either get a lower price or do it that way.
Or a combination of 1, 2, 3, all of it happening.
Yeah.
So, Daryl, is the world caving in? Should everyone be panicking and pulling out their hair? What should they be doing? What's going on?
No, they absolutely should not. I mean, and if you want to buy a house, it's a great time to buy a house.
It is a great time to buy a house. And do you know why it's a great time to buy a house?
There's a lot of reasons. I mean, the biggest ones I can think of is prices are down. Sellers are paying closing costs. They're making deals happen. They want to get rid of their homes because inventory's high right now.
Sellers are throwing in everything, beautiful furnishings at no cost or no additional value to the house. Sellers are allowing
sellers would give their firstborn to sell their houses right now.
I mean, can I get the dog? I've seen some really cute dogs. I've been showing some houses, you guys, and there are some really cute dogs out there. So if a seller wants to give his dog, hit me up. I'm your realtor. But you know what I also think is great is on the new home sector. Oh my God, we are getting deals in the new home sector. Let me tell you this, you guys, this is big news. I can't say it. Red flashing lights. Pretend like you see all the things happening. If you are a buyer, do not, I repeat, do not walk into a sales office without your realtor. Why, Daryl? Why?
Well, let me just be specific. Do not walk in without a realtor that knows their shit, right?
Yes.
At the end of the day, we can get things done that the average person just doesn't even know what to ask for.
Nope. So let me tell you guys, perfect example. One of the big builders in town, they start with a B, but I won't say who they are, offering a home out. The sales price, the base price of the home, $516,000, okay? Lot premium, $20,000. Good lot, right? But they're offering the buyer to pay all the buyer's closing costs and to buy down the buyer's interest rate by 1 point, maybe even 2. My buyer calls and says, oh my gosh, this is amazing, so exciting. I'm going to go ahead and buy a house with this builder. I go, wait. That's all you got? And they go, what do you mean that's all I got? That sounds like a great deal. I go, no. Let me call this builder. Luckily, I already had a pre-existing relationship with this builder. Luckily, I had already pre-registered this client on the website. But that doesn't always happen, you guys. This is just because we got lucky. And that builder then allowed me to negotiate another offer. Not only did we not pay the $516 base price, I came in with an offer. We are now paying $494 for the base price. So right there, we got over $20,000 that the buyer wouldn't have gotten, that they didn't know. Not only are they buying down their interest rate 2 points, because they were going to give them 1 point for sure and potentially a second. Not only are they paying all their closing costs, which they were already getting those things, we're also getting $30,000 at the design studio, which is allowing the buyer to get those big, beautiful accordion doors that are $12,000, to get the upgraded appliance package by 2 levels, and to upgrade their cabinets to the really nice white shaker cabinets. So that's $30,000 for free and $20,000 off the sales price, beyond what the builder was already going to give them that they didn't know they could have negotiated. So my clients, had they not have called me or if they would have already signed the contract, $50,000, Daryl.
Yeah.
50 grand that would have cost them.
Yeah.
I mean, people that you have to understand, you guys, when you're a buyer and you walk into a new home sales office, that agent in the sales office works for the builder.
Yeah, they definitely don't work for you.
No, and because their job is to sell that home for the highest price possible. They get bonus. They get paid a commission on how many homes they sell and at what high price that they sell them for. And so when you're negotiating a deal, are they vested into getting you a better price?
Absolutely not.
Because they get paid on the highest price possible.
Yeah.
And why? So people ask me this all the time, Daryl, why do builders offer realtors a better incentive to their client, to the realtor's client, than they would to a non-represented client? So to a client that doesn't have a realtor, why would a client that has a realtor get a better price or better incentives?
That's a good question. I don't know why.
I'll tell you why, right? So this is a leader question. Daryl actually does know this answer, you guys. But reason being is because the builders, they know that we as realtors have access to take you to every builder in town. We have access to take you to every resale in town. They don't have access to the MLS. So there's more competition. So the builder wants to entice us with a better deal for the buyer. So we will sell our buyer that new home instead of going out and selling them a resale home. And a lot of builders, I'm gonna blow some people's minds here now, right? A lot of builders know that realtors, not us, but a lot of realtors, want to get paid today. So if they want to get paid today, they would much rather push their client into a resale home because a resale home is going to pay them in 30 days, where a new home might take 6 months or a year. And so what do they do to do that? They have to compete. They have to compete. They have to show a better deal than what the resale is offering. And we all know resales are selling for less than new homes right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the builder has to have what they call realtor incentives that they are now offering out to a buyer that is represented by a realtor because they know there's competition. So when you walk in on your own, they're like, oh, I got this guy. There's no competition. That guy, a regular buyer can't walk into a resale home. They can't see the entire MLS. Yeah, they can see what's on the big websites like Zillow or Trulia, Realtor.com, but they don't have access to those homes. Yeah. And they also don't know how low those homes can be negotiated. So just because you see a resale online for $500,000, we might know the listing agent. We might call the listing agent. Listing agent might say, hey, my client lost all their money in crypto. They're desperate for a deal. Yep, we're listed for $500, but we'll take $425 today. We would know that. And so the builder knows that we have access to everything. We can sell you anything. So they have to give us a better deal for the buyer than they would if the buyer is not represented. So don't think that the builder, it's the same deal when you walk in there. A lot of clients think, oh, it's the same deal or it's a better deal because they don't have to pay my realtor.
Well, that's the one I usually hear. That's a better deal.
Oh, yeah.
They get a better deal because they're not represented.
No way. You actually pay more. It's actually proven. It's proven that a buyer who buys a home at a new home sales track, and this is a blended rate because not all builders are the same, but pays 12% more, either incentives, lot premiums, upgrades, design center, whatever, than you would if you had a realtor. Did you know that? 12%.
Especially
again,
one that knows their stuff.
Exactly. Because, back in the day now, lot premiums have cooled down quite a bit. But do you remember going into like Reverence and the lot premiums were $250,000
$500,000, yeah.
for 12,000 square foot lot? You
And
guys,
sold
we're not
out.
talking about like a freaking acre. We're talking like a fourth of an acre or less. And they were $200,000 lot premiums. And I remember them telling me, oh no, there's no way the builder's going to go down on that lot premium. I go, okay, we'll offer $50,000. We'll buy the house. We'll do the upgrades. We'll offer $50,000 for lot premium. Lot premium was $200,000. They said, there's no way. You're crazy. Oh my gosh. They came back. They countered us $175,000. I said, no. We'll pay $60,000. They came back. Long and the short of it is, we wound up paying $100,000 for a $200,000 lot premium. It saved my client $100,000. And in today, a transitioning market,
Yeah.
I bet you my client is loving the fact that they paid $100,000 less than their neighbor did just for the dirt.
Oh, for sure.
Just for the
No, the
dirt.
neighbors don't like it.
Yeah. So let's talk about it just because we're on a roll here with new homes. And I don't want to bash new homes. I love new homes. I want to sell you guys new homes. But there's a few more things that I think buyers need to know that are happening. And this is still happening. Supply issues. We're still running into supply issues, right?
Yeah.
A lot of builders are. So there was a home that we had in Summerlin. And my buyer picked stacked stone for the outside of the home. The entire facade, all the areas where there was going to be stone was going to be stacked stone. That very linear, modern, beautiful stacked stone. We go to do a walkthrough. You know, we go by the house about once a week, check on it. Go by the house one day, no stone. Go by the house the next week, river rock is on the house. Now, river rock is like that big, round, cobblestone-looking stone. Completely different look than stacked stone. Now, the stone's all on the house. They put it up over the weekend. My buyer freaks out. He's like, this looks like it's 1990. I want a house that looks like the Ridges.
Well,
like, I
not the
want it to
fact
be
that's not what
modern.
he picked.
Not what he picked. So we go into the sales office. Builder says, yeah, hey, we couldn't get the stacked stone, so we just put the next best thing on there. We go, are you kidding me? You couldn't get stacked stone. So not only did you not call us, did you not ask my buyer if that was okay? You put what you thought was the next best thing. What if my client would have just gone with no stone?
Yeah.
So we actually, now we're within about a week from closing at this point. We go to the builder and we say, well, we refuse to close. We don't want this on the house. That completely changes the outlook of the house.
Yeah.
And they try to push us and force us and strong arm us into closing. We don't close. Builder says, fine. After a week long of fighting, not agreeing to close, not agreeing to the walkthrough, they rip off all of the river rock, right? That's on there, the cobblestone. And somehow they replace it with stacked stone. Now, I thought they couldn't get the stacked stone. People say, well, where'd they get it from? I believe they had a limited quantity and they were only going to give it to the buyers who were going to scream and cause a fuss. Now, if my client didn't have a realtor, they might have just taken that.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know. Because, I mean, especially after we asked and they told us no multiple times, I just wouldn't give up. I went all the way up to the VP of sales and I said no. I mean, we heard no like 16 times. And we refused to close, and they kept threatening us, well, you'll lose your deposit, you'll do this. The average buyer might have just caved, not knowing that we didn't have to accept that. Or what about, I'm sure you see it too, they can't get a certain appliance in that they promised the buyers. They put Samsung in instead of, I don't know, Maytag or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen stuff like that happen all the time.
Well, yeah, it's just not what you selected.
And we as realtors will protect them.
Yeah.
That is the key. All right, you guys, so we'll get off new homes. Daryl, what do you think our next topic should be? Because I know we have so much to discuss.
I mean, I've just seen a huge uptick in leads, buyer leads, activity buyers on
So inquiries,
online.
right? Buyers are out there looking.
They're looking.
Yep.
And it's increased by a lot. And
Like really, like in the last 30 days, so about 45, 60 days ago, things were quiet. Things were slow. People were, I don't know, buyers were nervous.
I think 60 days ago it was completely dead.
Yeah, I know, right? Because, and I think people were just nervous. Interest rates, what's happening? Do we buy? Do we not? Do we hold on? It's getting really expensive. Our price is going to come down. What
and
is
back
happening?
then rates were going up.
Yeah, rates were going
Inflation
up.
was still going up.
And sellers, some
world
sellers
was
still didn't
crazy.
realize that they maybe should adjust their price
Yeah.
down. And so now we're seeing a lot more buyers be like, oh, okay, hold on. Rates aren't crazy. Even if I get something in the high fives or in the
Well,
sixes.
the rates are coming down.
Yeah, they are
They've
coming down.
come down
4 weeks in
almost a
row.
full point.
Yeah.
Because they were 7.
Yeah, remember?
Now they're down to 6. Inflation numbers are down.
And the programs came back like we talked about, the 3-2-1 buy down, so you could be in the threes.
I think
you could be
that
in the
their
fours.
confidence is getting a little bit
Consumer confidence is
stronger.
coming up. I agree.
Like, okay, well, maybe it's not going to go at 8 or 9% interest rate because it seems like it's going the right way. So I just think the confidence, the consumer confidence is growing.
And honestly, remember, I mean, let's talk February, March, April. We were out showing a buyer a house. I could find a house on the MLS or pre-list that morning. We would go and see it by noon. It would already have 6 offers on it. We were already having to pay 10% over asking. If we
You had to make offers before you really even went and looked at the property.
And then you had to ask for nothing. In fact, you had to offer your firstborn. You had to be like, hey, I mean, I was offering agents to cook them dinner, rub their feet, whatever it took, right, to get my clients' deals
We'll waive
done.
our inspection, we'll waive our appraisal.
I mean, that was what you had to do.
Yeah.
So now it's actually a better, more confident market for buyers because buyers know, hey, I can get into escrow, and if I do a home inspection and I don't like it, or this house doesn't appraise, I can renegotiate.
Or if the seller doesn't want to like make repairs,
I can
just
renegotiate.
back out.
And you know what, you guys, as sellers, don't panic. That is a normal market. We just were.
It should be that way.
Yeah, we were just honestly very spoiled the last couple of years. And so now we're getting into a normal market where homes don't sell in a week. They don't sell in a month on average. They might take 3 months. They might take 5 months to sell. And that's okay. It's a normal market, you guys. We are normalizing where we should have been. COVID threw us into this crazy frenzy. And now things are kind of adjusting to where they are normal. And actually, where people can afford homes.
Yeah. Well, and buyers aren't being taken advantage of.
For sure.
And we went through many years of that.
And as a buyer, you have time to think about it. I mean, literally, it was, if I showed you a home, I would have to call my assistant, dictate to her over the phone the offer, because while we were driving back to the office, that house was already going to be gone. I couldn't even take the time to drive from the house to my office to get the offer written, have the client sign it, even if they were still with me, and get it in. We were having to move like this. So you had no time to think about it. Now, if you're a buyer, you can go home. If you want to sleep on it overnight, you can. If you want to run the numbers with the lender the next day, you can. And that's great, right?
Yeah. If you want to go take a look at the property the next day, you can. You don't have to like take off on your lunch break that day.
Yeah. And let's talk about what other good things are happening. You guys, loan limits in the Clark County in Las Vegas, Nevada, where we are, have gone up. If you are doing a conventional conforming loan, which means you're not going to pay the higher interest rate for a jumbo loan, conventional conforming, you can go up to a 726 loan amount. So let's assume you're doing a 3% down loan. You could be buying a home in the 740s, 750s if you're doing 3% down, 5% down, and finance a loan into the 700s and get the best available rate possible, unless you're even going to do a 15-year fix and you get an even better rate possible.
Yeah.
So that's great.
And FHA, you can buy almost a $500,000 house now.
Yeah, exactly. It's about 508. You can do for the, not for the loan amount, for about the purchase price. If you're putting 3.5% down, you're right around $508,000 because the loan amount's just under $495.
$495, yeah.
And VA, there actually is no VA loan limit. As long as you can qualify, a lot of lenders might have overlays if you go over $3 million, but we have a VA buyer buying over $3 million right now.
No down payment.
And no down payment,
Zero
you guys. Down. No down payment, best interest rates out there. And so there's a lot of really good things happening in the market. So when I want to say drop the mic, you guys, it's don't be scared. That's the one thing I'd want people to say is don't be scared. Yes, things are always evolving. Things are always changing. Interest rate might go up, interest rate might go down. No one can predict that. But if it goes down, you guys should refinance. Do you want to tell the buyers what the key is? Now, we're not lenders, you guys, but generally the rule of thumb, if you want to refi, when is it best for you to refi your home?
When you can get it at least 1 point less.
That's the key. Daryl said it. Ding, 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 ding. When you can refinance and change your interest rate, generally by at least a point, maybe 0.75, depending on how high your loan amount is. But usually the rule of thumb is about 1 point. So if you've gotten an interest rate and it's 6.25 and it drops to 5.25, that's about the time you want to refinance. And if it drops again to another 1%, refinance again, you guys, because the small costs that you're going to pay when it comes to refinancing your home, you're usually going to break even within about a year's time. Again, depending on your loan balance and a few other things you can get with the lender on that. But that's when you generally want to refinance. So if you find the house that you like, today, I would rather be able to negotiate and get a better deal than I did 8 months ago. 8 months ago, my clients were paying 10% above appraised value. So you were buying a $700,000 house, you were paying $70,000 above appraised value.
And a lot of times you were settling on that house.
You were settling. It wasn't perfect,
so
but you needed a house. You're like, oh my God, I got to get
But now
something.
you can pick from 10 houses that you like. And you're like, I like that one best.
And so before, let's say your budget was $775, max out of pocket. You were looking at homes at $700, or maybe $720 if you were crazy, because you could pay up to $775. Today, if my budget is $775, I might show a buyer maybe a house at $850.
Oh, for sure.
And then because we could probably get it for $775, and we're going to have built-in equity. Where before, 8 months ago, you were pre-buying your equity. Today, you're going to have built-in equity.
Yeah.
And so, you guys, let's talk about something else. When are real estate millionaires made? Daryl, what's the answer?
Typically when you purchase.
And in down markets. So it's always when you purchase
in a down market,
and especially if you purchase in a down market. Now you can make money in an up market as well, but in a down market, you make the money when you buy the home, not when you sell it, you guys. Same thing on a stock, same thing on crypto. You make the money when you buy it. If you bought it correctly, you will make money when you go to sell it.
And the opposite, right? If you buy incorrectly and you pay too much, you could be in trouble for a while.
Yeah.
But I like this saying, and I'm going to murder this saying, but it has to do with real estate. And time heals all. I think it's time heals all wounds or something with real estate. It's like if you plan to be in that house for any amount of time, you're okay. Even if the market goes down another 5 or 10% from today, but you're going to be in it for 10 or 15, 20 years, you're going to be okay because the market's going to come back in a couple of years. It's not going to stay down.
Yeah.
But hey, if you're a flipper, obviously those sentiments don't work.
Yeah,
right?
because time is money when you're a flipper.
Yeah.
Time is money. And so you guys, that's the same thing. Let's talk about that too. So you phrase it as a buyer, like time heals all wounds. Like, hey, if you buy high, but you're going to be in the house for a long enough time, then it's okay because you bought high. But also same thing with a seller. I love right now when sellers say to me, well, I don't need to sell right now. It's okay if the house takes 2, 3, 4 months on the market. What would you say to them if a seller said that?
Well, we don't know where the bottom is. And you could wait another 3 or 4 months to sell, but at what number are you going to sell the property at in 3 or 4 months? That's
exactly it. Daryl hit the nail on the head, you guys, right there. Make sure you keep that right there. That was dropping the mic. Is that we know today's number. We don't know. In 3 months, I doubt that number is going to be higher than it is today. It could be equal, but there's a better probability it could be a little bit less. Now,
it could be 1 or 2, 3, 5%.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be 10%.
No.
But really, we don't know. Nobody knew that it was going to drop the way that it dropped. And so when a seller says, well, I might just wait 6 months. I tell my seller, right now, we have dropped in the Las Vegas Valley about 10 to 15% anywhere in the valley, depending where you're looking, just since the summertime. So and nobody has a crystal ball, if we dropped another 3% or 5% or 10%, would you be in a worse position than you are in today, knowing what the price of the house is today? If so, let's not risk that. Let's sell the house for what we know. And the same thing if I were a buyer. If I were a buyer in today's market, I would look at whatever the price is today and try to negotiate a little bit lower to get the best value, knowing that I'm going to be in that house probably, what is it, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years? What is my plan?
Yeah.
So know that if I buy a little bit less than where they're at today, and then I can get the greatest price possible, then I should be okay long term. It could go down a little bit more. Nobody can perfectly time the market. I don't care if you're a buyer or a seller. Realtor has been in the business 20 years. Nobody can perfectly time the market. Nobody can say, hey, on December 16th, it's the lowest day of the market. That's the day you buy. That's the day you sell. And that's it. Nobody knows that. So you have to do the very best you can with the data you have today. And knowing there are some good signs. Interest rates, as Daryl said, gone down 4 weeks in a row. The CPI, the Consumer Price Index, is showing that inflation is cooling off. We're seeing some good signs in the market. We're also seeing there's still a lot of consumer spending. Now, the Black Friday deals or the Black Friday sales, the Cyber Monday sales, they didn't hit the numbers. The consumer companies out there didn't hit the numbers that they thought they were going to hit.
Which makes sense.
Which makes sense because inflation is cooling off, you guys. That's what that means. If all of those big, massive companies out there were hitting and exceeding the numbers that they normally predicted for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, then we would see that inflation is not cooled down, and that would be a bad sign for the economy.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Well, I think people just in general, too, are trying to just hold on to their money a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because of what's happening in the world.
And what happened, in 2008, 2012, you and I have said it a million times, right? 2008, 2012, if I could have bought 15 houses then.
Oh, yeah.
If I could have bought 20 houses then. And I have a feeling that people too could, because I do feel this market is going to re-rise. I think we're in a temporary lull. I don't think it's going to be this way for 5 years or anything. Yeah. And I think that people are going to say, if I could have bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses during this period of time.
Or if I could have just bought one house.
Yeah.
4
during
or 5
this period
months
of time.
ago.
Because I'm telling you, like 7, 8 months ago when people were paying, like we said, above asking because the inventory was low, right?
Well, here's the thing, too. How many years did we hear the crying and the moaning that there was no inventory and that I couldn't get an offer accepted, and I've been out here writing 5 offers and wow. I've heard they've just complained about it for so many years.
And some of it was really gut wrenching.
100%. But here we are. We've
Now
got
you
plenty
can
of
do it.
inventory.
Now you can write whatever offer
You can write whatever you want. It doesn't need to be list price.
Doesn't mean it's going
10,
to be accepted,
15.
you guys. Doesn't mean.
No.
I mean, don't get crazy. Don't be trying to come in like 200,000 below
But
asking.
sellers are making deals happen.
They are.
So if you write an offer on this and it doesn't get accepted, fine. Go write an offer on something else. I mean, it's that kind of market right now. We have inventory. We have plenty of opportunities out there. If you don't get the first one, fine. Go move on to the next one. Make another offer.
Get the house that's right for you.
Yeah.
So you guys, there's something else I really do want to mention. I think that this is a big one. So in the news, we have seen that Open Door, which is a large real estate company in Las Vegas and nationwide, lost over $1 billion in the last quarter. Okay, so
I think their
made
CEO got fired, didn't he?
Yeah, the CEO got fired. You can't lose $1 billion in a quarter, you guys. $1 billion.
You are going to get fired.
And not get fired. $1 billion loss. You guys,
Ouch.
Open Door took $1 billion loss in 3 months because their process was then proven to not work. So they were buying homes, and then they were, doing a little bit of rehabs and putting them back on the market, and they didn't know how to evaluate the homes. Why did they not know how to evaluate the homes, you guys? They didn't have local real estate market experts that were handling this. And so let's
and I
talk
knew what they were buying those homes for. There was just no way.
Well, and here's the crazy part about that. Some people might hear us say that, and they might be like, oh, well, then those sellers got a great deal. But they didn't, you guys. Because here's the crazy thing. If you were a seller and you were trying to sell your house at the time, and you sold it to one of those big online companies, we won't name all the names, most of those big online companies they didn't have commission, you guys, but they had a service fee, which isn't commission, you guys, it's a service fee. And the service fees were anywhere from 5% to 10%, but they weren't commission. It was a service fee. So you guys paid a service fee.
Not a commission.
Then they got you for repairs or updates. So the average seller, when you would look at the settlement sheet that they would get, took an average loss of $30,000 less than what they would have gotten had they put their house on the open market, especially when the bidding time was
definite
crazy.
Average, because I've seen some
Huge
pretty
ones.
hefty numbers. Yeah.
And I mean, it would be crazy. We would see a seller and we'd be like, okay. And here's how a lot of these companies, I don't want to say all of them, but would hide it. They would say the sales price is $485. Perfect. Sales price looks good on paper. Comps are $485. That's great. Then
and that's the number everybody gets excited about.
Yeah. But then there's a 10% service fee, which is about $48,000. Now, if you had a realtor, you'd pay commission, but it may or may not be 10%. I'm going to say typically it's not.
It's typically not.
So, and commission's negotiable,
God
you
forbid
guys.
if it's 6.
It's negotiable. It's negotiable. So it's whatever you want, but their service fee is not commission. So their service fee was around 10, and then you had repairs, and your house can be beautiful, and people would be like, why do I need repairs? So then on average, the repairs were somewhere between 5 and 10%. So now it recorded your house price at $485. But you paid about a 10% service fee and about 10% for repairs. So really effectively the seller got about $400. When all the other sellers in the neighborhood were listing at $485, buyers were bidding them up to $500 because they couldn't get a house. Mm-hmm. And there weren't any repairs or very little. Really, there were really none this last year.
And they paid
the
the 6% listing was $30,000.
Yeah. So it was, and that's just an example. Because again, you guys, commission's negotiable, but this is just a one-time example Daryl Hanna's given you out there. So in that case, that's why there are large lawsuits happening with these companies, and we see, that they're taking huge losses. Now, we know that. They just did a huge lawsuit. Zillow did, and Open Door, and it was all public knowledge. You guys can research it out there. But let's talk about another one, Carvana. I don't know if you guys saw. Carvana just took like $1 billion loss.
Another B?
Yeah. They're down like 95%.
Oh, that hurts.
But let's talk about why. Let's talk about, because these are similar companies, but they do different things. Cars, houses.
There's similar things between them all.
Yes. And what is that? They try to take the traditional way of buying a car, the traditional way of buying and selling a house, getting rid of the actual local expert.
They're trying to get rid of the expert.
They're trying to simplify the process, which didn't actually simplify the process at all. It made it more complex. They tried to eliminate either the salesperson or the customer service rep or the salesperson at the sales
And now
office.
there's people out there actually trying to get rid of title companies.
Yes.
Have you seen this?
Yeah, and the thing is, you guys, this has already been proven to not work. These companies are taking billion-dollar losses and are facing bankruptcy or closure. Why? Because it didn't work. People don't want to go to a vending machine to buy a car, to put in a coin, buy a car. You don't get to test drive it. I mean, yeah, there's some return policy. You don't get to talk to somebody. You don't get to get the opinion of
But it's almost like stuff that gets delivered to my house. It's like most of that stuff, even if it doesn't work out, doesn't not get returned.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet you there's got to be a percentage of stuff that never gets returned.
Huge. And then the same thing with houses. I know, I'm a realtor. But even when I go to buy or sell a house, I want to call somebody when I'm panicking. I mean, most clients, when they're buying or selling a house, it's the biggest transaction in their life. I don't care if they've sold and bought 10 homes. I have clients right now that are doctors that are buying multi-million-dollar homes. They want to call me at midnight when they have questions. They want to call me at 8 o'clock at night when they're nervous because their wife just looked over the inspection report because they couldn't look over it. Who are you going to call at those big online companies? You're going to get somebody who's located in a different state or in a different, and here's a good one. In Las Vegas, we generally don't do rain gutters. We don't have a lot of rain, you guys. So one of my clients was selling their home. They were using me to buy a new home, and I didn't meet them before they listed their home. They were selling it to one of those big online companies, and they got a repair request. They did an inspection, and the online company they were selling their home to was trying to tell them that they had to install $12,000 in rain gutters
here in Vegas.
And the thing is nobody has rain gutters, you guys. I mean, we just don't
need them.
We don't need them. We don't rain enough. And so that was the key of like a local expert versus non-local expert. This is just one example. So they were calling me like, Jillian, what do I do? And I go, I can't get involved. I'm not involved in that transaction. I can't step in on another real estate agent's transaction and tell you what to do. But it's a perfect example of they just don't know the market. Also, the appraisals were coming in low. The repair bids were coming in high. I mean, because people, you're working with somebody sitting in Montana or maybe in India. They don't know the market. They don't know what's happening. You need that local expert. You need somebody. And when you're buying, especially, Daryl, how many times have you had it when the clients are coming from out of state and they're like, tell me about school districts. Daryl, where did your son go to school? Right? And they'll ask you those questions. Yeah. Daryl, where are the best restaurants? Where do you prefer? Where do you go shopping? Yeah. Hey, my wife's pregnant. But what's the best OBGYN? Yeah. Is an online portal going to be able to tell you that?
Yeah. No. They're not going to be able to.
And they're not going to I could say,
because the guy's sitting in Chicago.
And I could say, I've lived in Las Vegas since I was 6 years old. I gave birth to all my kids here.
Born and raised.
Right? So I could say, my OBGYN was this person. And I've even gone to an OBGYN office with my client when she was pregnant because she was here by herself. Her husband was deployed and she didn't know anybody. I mean, the average salesperson on these online portal companies are not going to be able to do that for you.
No.
And I think that's why we're seeing this big failure rate. People still want this is a person-to-person business.
It is.
I mean, I have so many clients that will ask me, what's your opinion on paint color? Jillian, what's the best carpet color? Should I do tile in here or laminate? How come we don't do a lot of wood floors in Vegas? Again, you need
Give me some ideas on the landscaping and colors.
And when it's a huge purchase, even when it's a huge investment to people.
Yeah.
Jillian, what do you think about this
Well, how many have you done too? I've done a bunch where I've actually facilitated repairs on the property after they closed. Say they're coming in from out of town, and I had the guy go in and do all the floors and the paint, so that when they got here, it was done. There's no design, online place that's doing any of that.
Oh my gosh, design, everything. I've paid for Airbnbs for clients because they got here and their stuff wasn't done yet, and they needed a place to stay. Yeah. I've had people come to my house for Christmas dinner because they were just moving in the day before Christmas.
You're going to be doing all that stuff yourself.
They had no furniture. Yeah, they had no furniture. They had nowhere to go. Or people. I just had a family over last Easter because they closed the day before. They were like, and their moving truck company hadn't even been unpacked yet. It's like, where are we going to have Easter dinner? I'm like, come to my house, you guys. I'll feed you Easter dinner. You can be with me and my family. That's the personal relationship that you build when you're working with a realtor. So when you think, you think that those big companies do it online, they do it quicker, faster, more efficient, cheaper. None of that is true. It is not efficient because you don't have somebody working around the clock. It's not efficient because they don't know the laws, rules, and regulations for the city. They're reading through a pamphlet. It's not cheaper, certainly. In fact, in most cases, it costs so much more.
Money. Yeah.
And it's not easier, because you don't have anybody else to walk you through it and help you. I've gone to the design studio with my clients. In fact, I have an appointment tonight to meet with a designer to help pick out cabinets and flooring and tile and bathroom fixtures. So much.
Yeah.
So, Daryl, is there anything else that we need to do with dropping the mic for our clients? I know we've given them a lot of information on inflation, on the market, loan programs, big companies that are failing because they just did it wrong.
Yeah, I just think that if you're a seller out there and you feel like you've missed the market, and I see this a lot, people panic selling and freaking out. And I'm like, just relax. If you don't have to sell, then you're going to be okay. And if you want to sell, it's still a good time to sell. You just have to price it correctly.
Yep.
And if you're a buyer and you want to buy, there's great deals out there you can buy, or you can wait. I mean, there's really no wrong or right answer right now. I think for people that want to wait, and because there are still a lot of people that are sitting on the sidelines with approval letters that want to buy, but they're not. That's okay. You can wait. At the end of the day,
But
that may end up costing you.
Well, exactly, because I was going to say, do remember that millionaires, real estate millionaires are made when other people are scared to buy.
100%.
That is when you have to be willing.
Well, that's with any kind of investing.
I mean, exactly. Take an educated risk. I mean, I don't want to like tell people just throw caution to the wind. Take an educated risk. Look at it. If this is the area you want to be in, if this is the house you want, if this is the price point you're comfortable with, if you can deal with the payment and afford the payment and the interest rate, then it may not be a bad time to buy. You can refi the interest rate later. Get a better deal now. Strike when the iron's hot. Right now, I haven't seen deals like this be made in over 10 years.
Hey, well, go throw an offer in.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I mean,
saying.
for people who want to sit around and wait, why don't you just fast forward 6 months?
Yeah.
Throw an offer 10% less.
Yeah. If you think the market's going to stabilize tomorrow, great, offer that. If you think the market's going to go down another 10%, offer that now.
But,
try to just like people were pre-buying their equity, pre-buy the dip, you guys. Yeah. But buy the dip.
Because this is kind of what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
I think for buyers that are waiting, I think one of the risks is that at some point buyers are going to start buying, and what we just talked about, leads are up, right? Mm-hmm. When buyers start buying, the inventory is going to go down fast. Yeah. I think we can eat up. I know that this city can eat through the available inventory fast.
Yeah.
And when that inventory disappears and that demand still is high, what happens? Prices go up.
Prices are going to go up. And I've seen
sellers stop making deals. Sellers stop paying closing costs.
They're going to lose out. If you wait
you're going to lose out. You wait 6 months, you may have a better interest rate, but you may be paying more and not getting your closing costs paid, which I think ends up costing you.
Tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah, and I mean, I'm seeing, like you said, way more buyers. I put a house on the market at $4.5 million just 8 days ago. I've had 6 showings. 6 showings at $4.5 million. I had another property, $775,000. 8 showings and 2 offers in the last month, and we haven't had any offers for 2 months prior to that.
Yeah.
So buyers are coming back around. At $500,000 house, today, we got 3 showings today alone. Another house of mine that was sitting on the market for the last 30 days with nothing, tons of showings. A $3.4 million house that I have listed, we've had 12 showings in the last month. It's been insane.
That's good.
So the buyers are coming back around. And like you said, I think that sooner versus later, we're going to see these deals start drying up because as sellers start getting in control, and it's funny because my buyers are already seeing it. They're like, wait a second, that house has been on the market 60 days. Now you're telling me they got an offer yesterday? Yeah. It's happening now.
Oh, yeah.
Now the buyers are coming back around and they're like, okay.
Well, the prices are starting to get down to where they need to be to sell.
Yeah.
For so many months, they were just kind of stuck in the old
Vegas.
Because
it turns so quickly, and I think buyers and sellers didn't realize.
Now that the prices have come down, now they're starting to sell. And I think buyers are now like, okay, now it's time to enter.
And people are like, oh, it's not so scary. Okay, I could get a deal.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, we hope that we gave you a ton of knowledge. This was a really, really good. I loved this podcast, Daryl.
Yeah.
I loved it. So we're going to call this Boom. Because you know what? This podcast was a ton of knowledge. We dropped the mic on you. Hopefully you guys are going to watch it. Love it. If you have any questions, reach out to us. Jillian Batchelor, Daryl Hanna at Vegas Real Talk.
Batchelor Hanna Group.
All right. Boom. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.